could you start by telling me your name and a little about your service?
My name is Cameron White, and I served in the United States Marines with the 1st Tank Battalion on 29 Palms, California, and I did 2 tours in Iraq.
You did 2 tours of duty,
Yes.
you said? Can you tell me a little bit about the evolution of your own personal views on the war?
Well, I was fully compliant on my first tour when I went over. I believed what they were telling us about looking for weapons of mass destruction and things like that. But once I was deployed, during our mission briefings, when the focus of our mission turned from finding weapons of mass destruction to securing oil fields, that's when the first little light went off in my head, if you will.
Yep.
And when I went back on my second tour, the icing on the cake was really seeing the shift of support from the Iraqi people. How they had supported us during my first tour, which was during the invasion, and then on my second tour, there was a complete lack of support from the Iraqis. We were obviously an occupying force that was not wanted there. So when I came back after my second tour, that's when I was still on active duty and I began working in the anti-war movement.
Were there any repercussions when you started doing that, given that you were still on active duty?
No, because nobody that I was on active duty with knew what I was doing, and I was so close to EASing. I was getting out of the service, so it really wasn't an issue.
If you had to hazard a guess as to what sentiment about the war is in the armed forces themselves, what would you say?
Well, the way that I see that it usually plays out is that if a young person straight out of high school enlists in the military, generally they buy into a lot of the propaganda that's fed to them by the military and the media, and so they're supportive of the war. But typically what I see, my fellow veterans see, is after they've done their first deployment in either Iraq or Afghanistan, that's when it opens up their eyes. They come back and they're totally like, oh, okay, now I hear what you were saying before, and okay, I understand. The reasons that we over there are wrong. The issues that they based it on are wrong. The deployments are too long, and they don't take care of the vets when they come back, which is why we were here today at the Republican National Convention, the Iraq Veterans Against the War. We led a march down to the Excel Energy Center where the Republican National Convention is taking place, and requested to meet with either McCain or a delegate from his party in order to present them a letter that was drafted by Iraq Veterans Against the War, outlining and detailing particular issues that are important to us, which the main focus of that is health care and adequate benefits for veterans that are returning from the war.
What kind of response did you get? That was this morning, correct?
Right. And we did the same action at the Democratic National Convention. So it wasn't like we were just going to focus on Republicans, because we're a nonpartisan organization. But the McCain party told us no. They didn't want to meet with us. They didn't want to accept us. They didn't really want to acknowledge us, which was completely different from what happened at the DNC, where Obama had one of his delegates come out and actually receive the letter from us and indicated to us that they would get that letter to Obama.
Let me ask you, and I don't want to keep you too long, but what's it like when you are serving in a very dangerous place? How do you handle it when you begin to doubt the appropriateness of the mission that you're there to support?
The way you deal with this is you turn your focus from mission accomplishment and things like that to just supporting the group of guys that you're serving with, guys and gals that you're serving with, and just trying to make sure that everyone comes home safely.
2 more quick questions. Where are you from, and what are you doing with yourself these days?
I'm originally from Minnesota. I now reside in Los Angeles, California, where I work at the West Los Angeles VA Hospital as a Department Service Officer for the Disabled American Veterans.
Very good. Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate it. Thanks. I hope that comes through.